Welcome to the channel, guys. I just wanted to give my breakdown of Khamzat Chimaev versus Paulo Costa today. I'm going to have more videos coming. This is just the first video to start the channel, obviously. I'm going to give my breakdown of who I think is going to win and why I think they're going to win and both fighters' paths to victory. So we'll start with Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa walks around at about 225, 230 pounds, so he is going to have a decent size advantage against Chimaev, who was fighting at 170 before, and obviously Chimaev was a big welterweight, but I think he's going to be an average size middleweight until he fills out into his frame more, you know what I mean? So Costa's going to have the size advantage, obviously, but I want to point out that Costa has a 72-inch reach, all right? Costa has a 72-inch reach and decent striking. It seems like he might be a more technical striker than Chimaev, but I don't believe he has as much power. We'll get into that in a minute. Now, Paulo Costa's paths to victory, he's basically going to have to keep the fight standing. Like you guys know, he's going to have to sprawl, defend the takedowns, defend the chain wrestling, because if he stops the initial takedown, that doesn't mean Chimaev's just going to stop there and be stalled out. He's going to keep trying to get the takedown. But the thing about that is, if he stuffs a lot of takedowns off the rip, say he stuffs like 5 takedowns and keeps it standing in the first, that extra mass that he has is going to fatigue is going to fatigue Chimaev for sure. And he could potentially gas him out and maybe get a TKO in late round 2 or early round 3. But let's talk about Chimaev now. First off, now Costa to me has not looked good in his last 3 fights at all. We saw him fight Luke Rockhold last, which in round 3 looked like he was getting pieced up a little bit, and I think anybody in the top 5 would easily destroy Luke Rockhold at this time right now because he's definitely not in his prime. And then his fight before that with Marvin Vettori, where he missed weight by like 20 pounds or something. He was going to miss weight, and then they fought, I believe, at 205. And don't get me wrong, Marvin Vettori is not a bad fighter, but I feel like he's above average in every facet of MMA, and he was getting pieced up on the feet, head knocking back, like he was getting outstruck easily. And I believe that Marvin Vettori got a takedown on him too. Now, I know he wasn't expecting to really grapple that much with him, but Marvin uses takedowns sometimes, and like Marvin's not anywhere in the realm of wrestler that Khamzat Chimaev is. And then his fight against Izzy, he didn't look good to me either. Now let's get into Chimaev. Now Khamzat, he has a 75-inch reach, so he's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage against Costa, which if he fights with the proper game plan, in my opinion, that's going to be like a key to the victory. Keep him back with the jab and not get wild like he did against Burns. Now, everyone keeps bringing up the Burns fight, saying, oh, he was exposed, he's not really that good, this and that happened against Burns. That, other than the Burns fight, Khamzat has steamrolled everybody. He steamrolled Kevin Holland pretty easily. He steamrolled Li Jingliang, who's like a fringe top 5 guy, so that's still impressive. When do we see Costa steamroll good guys like this? We saw what happened against Vettori. We saw what happened against Rockhold. We saw, obviously this is Izzy, but we saw what happened against Izzy. That was Chimaev's first time facing adversity, and you could hear his coaches yelling at him in Russian, and they translated it, and they're basically telling him to stick to the game plan and stop being dumb. I think that if he practiced his head movement and staying more patient on the feet and keeping people at bay with his jab, that he could definitely beat Costa even in the stand-up if he follows the game plan properly, which I say only beat him in the stand-up because the wrestling is going to threaten the stand-up. So if he's threatening with takedowns, that could make Costa drop his hands a little bit, and then he gets hit with a straight right or something, kind of like he did against Jiro Mearshart. He showed that he has KO power at 185 with that one-punch KO shot. And he KO'd, I know that was at 170, but he KO'd Ikram Aliskerov too, out cold. So Costa doesn't really KO people out cold. We don't see that very often. I mean, when's the last time, this is just off the top of my head, but I don't believe he's KO'd anyone since 2018. I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and look, but. So Chimaev, people keep saying that he can't pick Costa up. Well, here's the thing. If you guys have ever wrestled before, you don't need to pick somebody up. There's other technical takedowns you can do without having to pick him up. You're going to be like, oh, he's too big. So he could get his back. He got Li Jingliang's back. I know he's a smaller, he's a welterweight. He's not a huge middleweight like Costa, but he sprawled on the original takedown attempt. And even though he sprawled, Khamzat did not stop there. And then he went and got the back. He transitioned to the back. He kept chain wrestling and got his back and then eventually submitted him. Now, if he gets on Costa's back, he knows how to position and maneuver his body weight. It's not just about size. I'm sure Khamzat's training with way bigger people that can grapple right now to get used to this. And I'm sure he has since he's been wrestling since he was like 8. It's all about weight displacement and stuff. That's why Khabib was so good in Islam. It's about weight displacement. So even though Costa's bigger, when he tries to maneuver, Chimaev knows how to position his weight perfectly so that the person can't really do anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just about the out-muscling. Now, I think that Costa's definitely going to stuff some of the takedowns, and maybe Khamzat's striking will set up a takedown. Maybe he'll get him stunned a little bit and then get him down and hold him down. Like, how I'm going to predict the fight going out, I don't think that Chimaev's going to finish him, but I see him winning 2 rounds to 1. I could see Costa stealing a round, but I think he's going to drop Costa a couple times and get some ground control. And Costa might even rock him, or Costa might even KO him. We don't know yet. We haven't really seen him against high-level competition at middleweight, and we saw what happened to him against Burns at welterweight. But I think he's going to be a more mature fighter now from that fight. Like, you got to know, like, in his mind, he's like, all right, I'm not as good as I thought. I got to work on this stuff and that. I can't just go and steamroll everybody. I got to come out with a game plan. Now, this was my first video, guys. I don't know how I did. Please leave a comment with feedback down below, positive or negative, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. There will be more frequent videos coming, and this is probably going to be a dual channel with my friend to start, so we're both going to be posting on this channel. He's very knowledgeable about MMA as well. He actually has Costa winning this fight, while I have Khamzat. And I might do a breakdown of Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev, and some of the other fights on that main card, and maybe some of the other undercards. It just depends if I have time. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.